Page 9. Now, this image, where's my little pointer? This image right here is a crafted version of Sugar, my guardian angel. Now, if I've only seen Sugar once, and trust me, one time was enough. I was a little girl when Sugar came to me, but even as a child, I knew the spirit being wasn't from this world, appearing on a late and peaceful night, standing at the foot of my bed, asking me for a cup of sugar. That's how I gave her name, Sugar, because she was asking me for a cup of sugar. She was at the bottom of my bed and she was saying, Janice, give me a cup of sugar. Janice, give me a cup of sugar. I want to say go get your own sugar, but I'll tell you some more about that story later. Now, Sugar has a nickname, and I'm going to share that with you at the end of these pages. Well, I got 3 pages. I got 9 through 11. Let me read these pages because I want to tell you a quick story. Okay, now, it would take several decades before I finally understood the meaning of Sugar's request. Janice, give me a cup of sugar. I'm going to elaborate a little bit on that too. Okay, now I will reveal the meaning behind Sugar's request later. I'm going to tell you a little bit now. As for now, I would like for you to know, God, let me make this bigger. As of now, I would like for you to take some time and consider the spirit realm is real. I know because I've seen it. I'm a witness and I will testify under oath, lie detector and all. I know the spirit realm is real because I have seen it. Sugar appeared to me late one night at the foot of my bed asking me for a cup of sugar. And I said that it would be decades before I finally understood the true meaning, right? And so what had happened was after Sugar appeared to me and the next day in my mind, I was a little child, around 9 years old. In my mind, it meant be sweet, be nice, be kind, be sugar, be sweet. So from that moment on, I changed my attitude that I was going to be a peacemaker. You know, if anybody was fighting, I was going to be a peacemaker. I was going to, do the best I could with what I had. I was just going to be a good girl, a goody two-shoe is what they used to call her. I mean, that happened from like 9 to about 12, 13. Then I kind of like, forgot all about Sugar and left her behind. She's always been there, but I strayed away. I moved away. I put it out of sight, out of mind, right? So I understood as a child Sugar to say, give me some sweetness. But recently, within the last several years, within the last 5 years or so, as I began to develop the Lemonade version, Unit 3 on this website, I had a different perspective. And my different perspective was, maybe it started out, be sweet, Janice. Give me a cup of sugar in life, be sweet. Give me the sweet part of you. But it evolved into all that sour stuff you did, put some sugar on it and make the lemonade. Because I didn't live my life from 13 to 26 as a goody two-shoe. I lived my life from the age of 13 to 26 as a prodigal daughter, like the prodigal son that went away and went out into the world and did all kind of ugly, ugly things. Okay, I created a lot of lemons with my life between the age of 13 and 26. So then I was like, well, maybe Sugar wasn't saying be sweet. Maybe Sugar was saying, well, all that stuff you gonna do, girl, you gonna have to put some sugar on that to sweeten that up. So the sugar that I'm putting on it is my testimony. I'm telling what happened so that I can help as many people as I can not fall into the traps that I fell into. Okay? So, that's what the lemonade chapter is about. Now, the other thing is I want to tell you is that I gave Sugar a nickname recently, right? Okay, so what had happened was, my background is management, right? Restaurant management. I started out as a server, a regular server, coming to your table. May I take your order? I love doing that. That was like one of my favorite jobs, right? And so then I moved into management. And when I moved into management, I got promoted. It was moving into, a different area and stuff. And then after that, I moved from I got into being a GM. I went from a server all the way up to a GM position in different restaurants, and then I opened up a bookkeeping company. Was doing books and keeping doing bookkeeping for different corporations, different entities, and working with their accountants. And then I had opened up a children's thrift store, right? And so just following my passions and like what is it that I want to do and trying to figure out life, right? And so in May of 2011, God called me to dwelling instructions, and He told me, I'm gonna give you some instructions. I want you to write them down. I want you to follow them. I want you to record your journey. I want you to follow them, right? So I said, okay, okay, okay. So then He pulled me off of my jobs, right? So this is what I want you to do. So this is when you start living off faith, right? So I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm like, okay, I get it and everything, but the light bill got to be paid, and the phone bill got to be paid, and different things. And so I'm like, what am I supposed to do for money? So that's when I felt in my heart to like go and work for um, a restaurant in the Black community, right? So I said, okay, I have all these skills, working in a corporate setting and, being a GM and managing, multi-million dollar companies and stuff. So I'm going to take all my skills and I'm going to go and I'm going to apply them to a mom and pop's restaurant in the Black community. And this was my train of thought. So I said, Lord, I'm trying to negotiate with God, and I said, I'm just going to be working, a couple of days a week and stuff so I can still, do dwelling instructions and do the assignment that you called me to. But, I got to eat, say, like Noah, He called Noah to build the ark, but they still had to do some little farming because they got to eat and keep their strength up so they can hammer them nails or whatever. They didn't have nails back then, but whatever they was doing, to build their ark. So I said, okay, Lord, so I'm negotiating, So I said, I can go and find me this job. So I went in the Black community, and there's this restaurant that been around a long time, right? From high school, I've been going, 40 years this restaurant been there. So I said, yeah, I'm going to go there and I'm talk to the lady and see if she need a bookkeeper, somebody, whatever, or a manager, somebody to come in and, get her crew in order, see whatever she need and take my corporate knowledge and apply it to the store. So I went in, so I talked to her. So she said, yeah, yeah, yeah. She came in. I told her what my rate was, and she was kind of like paused a little bit, but it was real low. It was real compared to what my worth is. It was like, just say if I'm worth uh whatever it was like 10% of what I'm really worth. Just say 1%. It was like a low number for me, but for her, it might have looked a little. I said, well, listen, I'm only going to be working 1 or 2 days a week anyway. So, and then so she said, well, no, I might need you a little longer, whatever, whatever. So I went in the beginning and I did a lot of days to catch everything up, get everything in order. And then I can pull back to like 1 day a week or 2 days a week, depending on the workload. My goal was I didn't want to put in a lot of time on a job because then if I was going to do that, I could stay in management and work 50, 60 hours a week. My goal was to cut back on my hours in the corporate setting so I can work on my assignment from the Lord. And so, but I just needed a little tiny bit of income just to, carry me through. But I didn't know this thing was going to be going on for 12 years. Lord have mercy. He didn't tell me it was going to go on for 12 years. So anyway, I'm working to the restaurant, right? So let me tell you something straight up. A corporation run their business completely different from a mom and pops. A mom and pops don't really have rules a lot of times. They make the rules up as they go, and they don't follow no type of guidelines. I'm surprised they're not being sued left and right because they just be violating all kind of stuff, right? So I'm not accustomed to that. I'm accustomed to dot every I and cross every T. I run a tight ship. When I was a GM at this one particular restaurant, we was number 2 in the whole country. Out of like 400 stores, we were number 2 because I be watching everything, right? So I'm in there, so I'm listening to, it was like I was at home back in the day. Sit your blah, 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 blah. Go over there, blah, blah. It was a lot of yelling. It was a lot of profanity. It was like, oh my God. So it was like a 45-minute drive, right? I know where I'm going. I'm still telling you about the nickname I gave Sugar, right? So it's like a 45-minute drive to this yard, right? So the whole way I'm praying in the spirit, right? I got my praise and worship music on. I'm getting full, because I know I'm getting ready to go in the jungle, right? So I go in and boy, I'm hearing all kind of stories. This happened, that happened. She went, Janice, guess what? Last night, so-and-so was trying to put so-and-so in the fryer, the deep fryer. You fry the chicken wings and stuff. So one employee trying to they fighting, so one trying to put the other one in the fryer, right? So so another day I go in, she was like, oh, check this out. Whatchamacallit was chasing whatchamacallit down the street with one of my butcher knives. So you got two more employees, one running down the street behind the other employee with a knife from her kitchen, right? So I'm like, Lord, where have I landed and how long will I be here, right? So I started out going into the management, but it shifted over to the bookkeeping because the organization and the willingness to change wasn't there like I expected it to be, right? So, and that's another thing when you go into somebody's house, right? Even though you know how everything should be, you can only go as far as that head let you. If that head lock the door and say, no, you can't go in here, no, you can't go in there, you have to follow the instructions of the head, the person that's over you. So if my boss say, I want you to do this and this and this, and none of this, even though you see all of this is falling down, you focus on this, and this because that's what your boss told you. So that was one of the things God was dealing with me about, coming up under the authority that I have placed over you, respecting that authority and following those instructions, right? So I said, okay, God, I got it, right? So I had to pray all the time to go there because I didn't know what in the world I was going to run into, right? So I'm going in there, so I'm praying, and then the Holy Spirit, Sugar, she always on high alert, boy. Sugar be like, you better pray because I'm going to need a whole lot of troops with me when we go over there on that turn because, battling, spiritual battle, right? So I'm in there one day, right? And so I'm working, I'm doing the books, and I'm getting the paperwork and opening the mail and going through everything. And so I hear my boss say, hey, so she come in there, a certain time every day to cash down, to count down the register and do all her little stuff and stuff or whatever, right? So one day she said, hey, go tell Talkalot to come here. So, hey, tell Talkalot to come here. So I'm sitting there. So Sugar was like, you caught that? So I said, yeah, Sugar. I said, Talkalot. What kind of name is that? I said, that's, you got an employee named Talkalot? That's the government name. I said, that's the name his mama and daddy gave him that's on his birth certificate. Talkalot? She was like, no, girl, you so crazy. No. Every time I see him, he always talking. So I call him Talk a Lot because he talks a lot. So I'm still laughing off of that. So I laughed until I went home. But the funniest thing is, when she called him, come here, Talkalot, he said, yes, ma'am. And he come. So he answered to the name. He accepted it. She extended it. He accepted it. And I thought it was the funniest thing. And so I called Sugar Talkalot. Because Sugar talk all the time. And that's how the Spirit does. When you get so full of the Spirit and when you hang out with God and when you constantly reading His Word and when you constantly praising and worship, I do more praise and worship than anything else. I'm a worshiper and I'm an intercessor. So I'm always before the Lord, praising and worshiping, praising. And my spirit man is on high alert. And because it's on high alert, Sugar is a talk a lot. She talks all the time. So as you continue to build your spirit, man, and as you know what God has surrounded you with, and you realize the benefits and all the tools that you have, and you start using them, if you don't borrow sugar and you have your own guardian angel, which God give all of us an assistant, you're going to discover that your assistant talks a lot too. Okay. This is been Miss Janice, and I hope you have enjoyed this story. And let's continue with this revival. And we moving on to the next pages on the server page, unit number 2. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about Miss Talkalot. Okay, talk to you later.